Welcome. In this video I'm going to be taking a look at this Kissarex adjustable laptop stand. So this was provided me by Kissarex, but they're not compensating me for this video and they're not reviewing it before I post it. If you find this video helpful, I'll put a link to this in the description on Amazon, and if you use that link it helps me out a little bit and doesn't cost you anything extra. So we have aluminum construction here. We have rubber pads on the bottom here and the little lip that holds the laptop. There's rubber feet on the bottom. So this is made to work with 10-inch to 17.3-inch laptops, and the weight capacity of this is 13 pounds. So to set this up, we lay it flat, and then we'll take the edge with the little lip here, and we'll lift that up like so. Then we'll lift up the backside, like that. There we go. So there are no screwdrivers or anything or adjustment knobs on this. It uses friction to hold it up. So I'm going to put my laptop on here. So this is a 2012 MacBook Pro, but it's very similar to even the modern MacBook Pros in size and weight. So here is a side profile of this. And one thing you need to consider is the center of balance here. So what you probably want to do is like what I'm doing here, is kind of support it and tip it back and see where it tips over. So you got to tip it quite a ways here to get it to tip over. But it's definitely more tippy towards the back than towards the front. I mean, you have to really lift it up to tip it forward. So your center of balance is also going to be based on how high up it is. So if I tilt this down, like so, then it's going to be less tippy towards the back. So I think most adults will be able to handle this. If you have a kid that likes to fiddle with things and, might flip it backwards, then that's something to take into consideration. So one reason you may want to use something like this is to raise your laptop up off of your desk so your screen is more at your eye height. So in that case, we have the little shelf down here that you could put your keyboard on. So when you're not using it, you could store your keyboard there. You could also potentially use this at a standing desk. So here I have the laptop mostly level. I can type on it here. Now this may be a little wobbly for some people's liking, so I don't know if someone would want to work on this for 8 hours a day, but I use laptop stands in that orientation on my bench where I do a lot of my tech work, and it works well for that because I'm usually just typing in small things. If I was writing a book, I don't know. I mean, everyone has their own preferences. I could probably type quite a while on that. This could also be used for presentations like in an office. If you are in a conference room, you could have this in here and you could raise your laptop up, which would make it a little easier for everyone to see. So you can see in this orientation here, I have the laptop raised up, so it's almost like a display here. And the center of balance on this is pretty good too. Yeah, it's not very tippy forward or backwards. So if I take the laptop off, you can see these large holes here that would allow ventilation. So air can flow through here to cool your laptop. This also has a slot on the bottom. So you can use that to carry it. So you could slip this in a bag or a briefcase or something. So even if you don't need your laptop raised up a lot, using a stand like this can also allow for ventilation. So if I have the laptop here, it allows for air to get under here. But I definitely like to have my screen up at eye height, so I'm not having to look down at my screen. So a thing I like about this is that it doesn't require any tools for adjustment. You can just pry it open to the size you want. I think that's a nice feature. The aluminum is a little thinner than some that I've seen, but I wouldn't expect anyone to bend this easily unless they were trying. Having it thicker would also make it heavier. So if you're carrying this, I think having less weight is ideal. I don't know over time if these will loosen up, but it does have bolts here, so it does look like these could be tightened up, if something got loose in the future. They use kind of a nylon lock washer here, so they shouldn't loosen up. So here's more of an up close at the construction here. You can see these arms are a little bit thicker than this portion. And it has little pads here, so when this is fully closed, there's pads on both sides here, so those contact the aluminum. There's a little thin recess in here. So if you were to put something that could roll around like a pen, you could set that in there and it won't roll out. Although I tend to put keyboards there if I'm using them on a desk with a keyboard. This has a slightly rough finish. It's comparable to the finish you find on a lot of aluminum products that look like this. I don't know exactly what it is, if it's like an anodization or if it's a paint. but it has a nice texture to it. It's smooth, but it has a little bit of texture. These can also be used with an iPad, you know, like so. Or so like that. So if you want to give a presentation on your iPad in a meeting, you could take this, set your iPad up there. So if you want a lightweight adjustable laptop stand, I think this is a good option here. So that's all I'm going to cover in this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you like this video, please click like. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate it if you could do that. And thanks for watching. Until next time, goodbye.